You're standing in the shower. Tomorrow you have an important meeting. The water is warm. Everything is quiet. Then, without asking your permission, your brain starts talking. What if they don't like your idea? You answer back. No, that's not what I meant. The conversation keeps going. You explain yourself again. Then, you finally think of the perfect response. The one you wish you could say before the conversation has even happened. Your jaw tightens. Your shoulders become tense. Your heart starts beating faster. For a moment, it feels completely real. Then you catch yourself. The shower is still running. Tomorrow's meeting is still tomorrow. You haven't spoken a single word. So why can your brain create a conversation that doesn't exist and make it feel so real? If something like this has ever happened to you, it doesn't necessarily mean you're an anxious person. And it doesn't mean your brain working against you. For many people, this is simply how the mind responds when the future is uncertain. Most of us think the brain reacts to what's happening around us. But much of the time, it's trying to stay one step ahead. Every second, it's quietly asking, what happens next? Usually, that's incredibly useful. It helps you catch a ball, finish someone's sentence, walk through a crowded street without thinking about every step. Your brain makes thousands of tiny predictions every day. Most of them are so accurate, you never even notice they're happening. Tomorrow's meeting is different. Your brain doesn't know how it will go, and it doesn't know what people will say. It doesn't know how you'll respond. And your brain doesn't like questions without answers. So before tomorrow even arrives, it starts writing its own version of it. But if your brain is only trying to fill in the blanks, why does it often write the worst-case scenario? Because uncertainty creates a problem, and your brain doesn't like problems without answers. Think about tomorrow's meeting. Right now, nothing has happened. Nobody has criticized your idea. Nobody has disagreed with you. There is not even a conversation to worry about. There's only one thing. A question. How will it go? Your brain doesn't know the answer, and that's uncomfortable. So, instead of waiting until tomorrow, it starts writing possible endings today. Some are good, some are bad. But the difficult ones usually grab your attention first. If something could become a threat, preparing for it often carried less risk than ignoring it completely. That tendency is still with us today, not because your brain enjoys worrying, but because it would rather prepare for a difficult future than be surprised by one. But those stories are still only possibilities. So why do they sometimes feel almost impossible to ignore? The reason is, your brain isn't trying to prove the story is true. It's trying to decide whether the story deserves your attention. And for your brain, possibility is often enough. Your brain asks, could this happen? If the answer is yes, your brain begins preparing. That ability is one of the reasons humans can plan ahead, solve problems before they happen, and imagine different futures. Without it, planning for tomorrow would be almost impossible. But every useful ability has a downside. The more detailed the story becomes, the easier it is to forget that it is still only a story. By the time you step out of the shower, your brain has already rehearsed tomorrow several times. Your brain hasn't experienced tomorrow. It's experienced its own version of tomorrow. And if your brain keeps returning to the same story, something even more surprising begins to happen. The story stops feeling like imagination. It starts feeling like evidence, not because anything has changed, because your brain begins looking at the world through the story it already wrote. You imagine your colleague disagreeing with you. The next morning, before the meeting has even started, you notice every serious expression, every pause, every unanswered smile. Gradually, small moments seem to confirm what your brain imagined the night before. Psychologists have a name for this tendency: confirmation bias. Once we expect something, our attention naturally starts searching for signs that support it. The strange part is, the meeting still hasn't happened, but your brain has already started collecting evidence for a future that only exists in its imagination. Without it, life would be much harder. The problem isn't that your brain imagines tomorrow. The problem is that tomorrow hasn't asked its question yet. But your brain is answering it anyway. The shower is over. You reach for the towel. Tomorrow's meeting is still tomorrow. For a moment, your brain begins writing another conversation. You notice it. You let it pass. Tomorrow still has no story. Your brain is simply writing its first draft. Now you know who's holding the pen.